here is how I dropped my HbA1c from 39 to 36 in just 30 days, all without cutting out carbohydrates, going on a keto diet, or just living off salad. So if you're a cyclist like myself, you might be quite dependent on your carbohydrates, and as a result, maybe looking to control your blood sugars a little bit better. So when I started my 8-week training program, I tested my HbA1c at the start and just wanted to see what it was as a baseline. I had a bit of a wake-up call because it was 39. This is coming off the back of a holiday, so I've been away for a week indulging, and while it wasn't high, it was still in the healthy ranges. We're looking to have it between 18 and 42. Certainly towards the top end is not something I am too comfortable with. A little bit of diabetes in my family, so I might be predisposed to some risks later on in life. And also, optimum ranges have been shown to be below 35. So I gave myself the target of dropping my HbA1c as low as I can over my 8-week training plan, and also test it 4 weeks into my program. The reason for that is that the panels that we test on your HbA1c, which is, for context, your average blood sugars over the last 3 months, the majority of that data will come from the last 30 days. So I want to see how the 30 days had impacted my blood sugars, give me some context of how well I'm doing, and also to see if there was room for improvement for the following 4 weeks. So most people generally think that to lower your HbA1c, you've got to be doing tons of exercise and going low carb. That isn't the case, and in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, how I dropped my HbA1c by 3 millimoles within 30 days, and also how it can support yourself when it comes to looking after your health in the future, and also benefiting you as a cyclist as well. Because if you're like me, you might be really dependent on carbohydrates as a cyclist. I would have porridge every day for breakfast, and I have done for as long as I can remember, pretty much for the last 20 years. And that porridge bowl, if you follow me on social media, you'll know not just a small bowl of porridge, it is a mountain of porridge with almond butter, honey, berries, nuts, seeds, yogurt, and it comes to a whopping 1,000 calories for my breakfast. And while this is good if I'm out going for a 3-4 hour bike ride, or maybe riding regularly on holiday, overall, having this every day, even on days when I'm less active or just going to the gym to lift some weights, probably not going to be the best thing for me. And this is probably what has resulted in me having a higher HbA1c than maybe I would have liked. So in the end, I wanted to focus on how I can build a system that could allow me to lower my HbA1c without sacrificing my cycling ability. And as I'm going through an 8-week training plan, I wanted to make sure that I was getting the most out of my training sessions without depleting myself too much by being too low on the carbohydrate front. So first of all, I'm going to dive into my week, what my last week looked like when it comes to my training on my 8-week plan. And as someone who doesn't have time to be training 10 plus hours a week, I work full time in clinic and also coaching clients every day. So I wanted to make sure that my sessions are as efficient as possible. So this week I averaged about 5.5 hours on the bike. That's about 84 miles in total. I do commute to work, which is roughly about 4 miles each way. So that does help to get a few more zone 2 sessions in. But this week wasn't commuting as much with work commitments and social gatherings. I focused on making sure that the sessions that I did do were really focused and key to helping me improve my FTP and improve my fitness. So I did an hour session focusing on 3 by 10 minute intervals with a 3-minute rest. I was averaging 240 watts for each one. The last one, a bit of a challenge towards the end, but that is the key. I want to make sure I'm hitting that threshold levels that I was setting myself in order to stretch myself to improve my FTP in the future. So that was a really good quality workout for an hour. Then balance it out with some endurance rides over the weekend, maybe just an hour on the bike. Not so many intervals, but the key factor was I was making the most of my sessions in the week. This week though, I was focusing on increasing my weight training. So what I was focusing on is lifting heavier in order to build more muscle mass as well. And that's one of the key factors when it comes to balancing blood sugars and lowering your risk of diabetes in the future. The more muscle you have on the body, the lower that risk is. Essentially, the body requires more energy to fuel the muscles as opposed to body fat. Body fat is just excess energy on the body that the body has to utilize first. So if you are looking to lose weight, build more muscle, that's in turn going to help you lower your risk of diabetes as well. So my focus this week was 2 sessions again, but really increasing the load on my lunges. So now lifting around 35 kilos as a walking lunge, 17.5 in each hand, and then increasing that to a step up of 14 kilos, just to really maximize my strength in the legs. And also now lifting about another 10 kilos on my pull-ups as well, lifting more than my body weight when it comes to my pull-ups, which is a really good progress that I'm happy with as well. Then lastly, the key point when it comes to reducing my HbA1c is that over the last 4 weeks, I really focused on cutting back on my carbohydrates on a daily basis, especially around sessions when I'm not doing really any hard interval sessions. So if I'm weight training, it's going to be scrambled eggs on toast with some avocado, mixed in some mushrooms and tomatoes as well. A little bit of sourdough bread underneath, but compared to what I was having with my porridge bowl, a significant drop in my carbohydrate intake. Also been cutting back on any sweet snacks. I was guilty of maybe having a bit of chocolate each day, not excessive, but really restricted that as much as possible. Just give myself the best option in terms of lowering my HbA1c during that time. My main snack now is nuts with a couple of dates, just to get a bit of sweetness. And then in the evenings, try to limit any heavy carb meals in the evenings as well. So again, it might be maybe some scrambled eggs on toast again, or maybe just a lighter meal or a snack, but nothing too heavy. Maybe have some full fat Greek yogurt and some nuts, etc. And my main meal, if I'm having a carbohydrate meal, will be during the day. Also making sure I'm walking regularly. So after lunch, I always go for a little 10-15 minute walk. That really helps to stabilize and reduce blood sugars after eating. So you're aiding the process of the body breaking that down for you, rather than it being elevated in the bloodstream while you're just sat down being sedentary all day. And then when I was doing rides, so if I'm doing my interval sessions, I would fuel with some carbohydrates. So I would normally go in with a carbohydrate drink, about 30 grams of carbs in my drink, alongside a little flapjack on the way to the gym. So I had a little bit of energy in me in order to get those sessions out, and then I'll come back and then I would normally have some overnight oats. So having my porridge on the days I'm doing lots of activity. Generally, that will be a Tuesday where I do some intervals, and then in the evening I'll do a zone 2 session. And then if I am riding at the weekend, I'll repeat the same process. So instead of having porridge every day, 7 days a week, I'm now having it 3 out of 7 days a week. And this has really been helping to make me feel fuller for longer. I feel very satisfied, really enjoying the change as well. I never thought I would always crave porridge and that would be my favorite meal of the day, but now I actually really enjoy having that savory breakfast. And in turn, it's actually reduced my sugar cravings. So I actually feel less tempted by sugary foods that might be around in the office or at home. So that's been a really good positive change as well. And then lastly, it's helping me to get more protein in my diet as well. So overall, it's been a really good positive change. Over the last 4 weeks, a 3 millimole drop in my HbA1c is very significant. I'm very happy with that. And over the next 4 weeks, I'm hoping to drop that by another 3 millimole. So by the end of the 8 weeks, I've hopefully dropped my HbA1c by 6 millimole, get it below 35 ideally. So we'll see how I get on from there. So if you found this video useful, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you've got any questions when it comes to managing your HbA1c yourself. And also don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep track on how I'm getting on my 8-week program. And we'll see you in the next one.